Hi everyone, I'm Ben Taylor with Queen Elizabeth Academy, and we're here again today with another English lesson. Today we're starting a lesson on feelings, and we're going to go over 5 different types of feelings and what they mean. We'll also look at different ways to express your feelings in an appropriate way in Western culture. So I'll give you some examples of phrases and vocabulary that you can use to tell different people how you feel. So maybe your boss versus your friend, or even a relative, how you would express how you feel in English. So to start off, feelings are sometimes, the word feeling is sometimes used interchangeably with emotion. So we have 2 words, feeling and emotion. They both mean the same thing. So if you hear emotion, it means feeling. So the feelings or the emotions that we're going to go over today are worry, sadness, happiness, anger, and surprise. So let's say those one more time. We have worry, sadness, happiness, anger, surprise. So we'll go over each feeling one by one, discuss what it means, and then give you some examples of phrases and words that you can use to express when you're feeling that way. So let's go more into detail with each feeling. So first, we have worry. Worry. So you feel worried when something has gone wrong or when there's trouble or a problem. For example, if you have a test tomorrow, you might say, I'm so worried about tomorrow's test. So that phrase, I'm so worried about, can be used with anything. So if you feel anxious or worried about something, about a problem or something major that's coming up, you just say, I'm so worried about blank. So whatever you're worried about. So some examples of when you might feel worried are if you lose something and you can't find it. So let's say your keys, the keys to your apartment. If you lose your keys, you would be worried. When you have a big test, exam, or interview. When we say interview, we usually mean job interview. So where you go talk to somebody in the hopes that you'll get the job. They ask you questions. So you would be worried about that because you want it to go well. When you have personal problems financially or maybe in a relationship, you may feel worried. Not sure if you have enough money to do something or if you have enough money in your bank account. When somebody who is close to you is missing or not responding. So if your friend doesn't call you back in 1 day or 2 days, you may start to be worried or feel worried. And when someone you don't know is following you, so if you're walking and someone's following you, you might start to feel worried. So there's various levels of worry, some that are more serious than others. And it's good to know the vocabulary associated with these different levels. So some are more extreme and some are more minor, let's say. So the first one we have is anxious or nervous. Anxious or nervous. These basically mean the same thing. So you feel anxious or nervous when you're waiting for something to happen. This is more serious than just worry. For example, as I mentioned, if you have a test or an interview, and so if you're feeling anxious about something, you might say, I feel so anxious about tomorrow's test. So now you see we can say, I'm so worried about tomorrow's test. Or if you want to make it a little bit more serious, you can say, I'm so anxious about tomorrow's test. Anxiousness can be diagnosed. It can be a mental problem. So you can be diagnosed with anxiety. But people still use the word anxiety and anxious without it being medical or a serious medical issue. So some people have so much anxiety it becomes a medical problem. But you can still use the term anxiety or anxious just in regular speech. Doesn't necessarily mean you have a medical problem. Just means you are very worried about something. The next type of worry we have, or level of worry, is stressed. Stressed. So you feel stressed when you're struggling or having a difficult time with something. Maybe financially, academically, so academically means in school, or personally, in your relationships. So you feel stressed. And what you would say if you're feeling stressed is something like, I'm so stressed about my job. I don't know what to do. And your friend or whoever you're talking to might reply, maybe you should talk to your boss about it. So again, the same with worried and anxious. We can just say, I'm so stressed about something. So about my job, about school, about my finances. All of these things are things you can be stressed about. Uneasiness. Uneasiness. This is a third level of anxiety, and it's when something makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. So when you're feeling uneasy or uncomfortable, you might say something like, I don't feel comfortable in these jeans. I think they're too small. And the salesperson might say to you, okay, let's find you a different size. So uneasiness or being uncomfortable is a lower level of worry than stress or anxiety. Finally, a very serious level of worry is being scared or afraid. So this is when something serious is happening. For example, if somebody you don't know is following you, or somebody has broken into your house, or when you're scared that something bad is going to happen. So it's a very serious worry, almost afraid for your own life kind of worry. So you might say, I'm scared that I will drown in the pool because I don't know how to swim. So something very serious and life-threatening, we would say. So those are 4 different types of worry, right? So we had anxious, we had stressed, we had uneasy or uncomfortable, and we have scared or afraid. So 4 levels of worry. And just remember the formula or the basic phrase, I'm so worried about this, or I'm so stressed about this. The only one it doesn't work for is afraid. We don't say, I'm so afraid about this. We just say, I'm so afraid that, or I am afraid of something. So you don't have to use about with afraid. Let's move on